I would want to go back to the 1940s probably, during the Wenela era. Most of our forefathers, our grandfathers, went down south in search for economic opportunities. During the 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s, most Zimbabweans then also left this country to the country.
People that are encamped at Harare refugee camp, and the policies of the government of Malawi is that the government follows is that of encampment. So these 53 are put up at a place which was meant to host maybe 10 to 12,000 people, but now is hosting 53,000 people. If you ask the different people there, they will mention different reasons why they are fleeing from their own countries, and some of them is to do with war in their original countries. Of course, when you go deeper, you will see that there is also a political connotation or political influence that has led to the wars and has led to the fleeing of such people. Yes, within the country we also have people that have been displaced internally due to disasters, and these are increasing nowadays because of climate change that is leading to effects such as cyclones that I think even here in Zimbabwe you also face. And there are many reasons why people decide to relocate or move out of their areas of residence. Yeah, probably I will try to give my own experience from Malawi, where we also have refugees. Of course, I'm not a refugee myself. I'm not a person that is seeking asylum. But we have
refugees. That's the real deal in all communities. That's how they see refugees. So I'm glad that we're having this dialogue and the community is going to learn a bit more about who refugees are and probably change from calling them refugees but part of the community. Okay? So earlier on we spoke about the challenges that refugees face. I think these challenges start from why they're running away. Some of these reasons are religious, especially for women. There are some religions that are quite restricting for women, and their only solution is to run away to a different country, to a different area, to a different district, so that they find peace wherever they are. Other reasons that we've been told are political reasons. Other reasons are for economic sustenance, better jobs, a better life for their children, a better life for the family. So I think let's talk more about the challenges that refugees face. We'll start from where they are coming from, why they are running away. How do you see it? Why people change from one location to another, be it internally or from other countries?
There are conflicts that arise at family level, and if they are not resolved amicably, they degenerate into something very nasty, forcing maybe some members or a member of the family to relocate and move to a safer place, somewhere where they feel safe with their family. But also the natural disasters that the country has experienced, and this is not only Zimbabwe, it applies also to Mozambique and maybe Zambia, where cyclone Idai, cyclone we had quite a number of cyclones that we experienced, and people were internally displaced, and those that survived at least had to relocate and find themselves somewhere where they never dreamt to be. Climate change is also a major driver because majority of our people rely basically on agriculture, especially for Zimbabwe is an agro-based economy. And if the land is not helping them to produce enough, then they are forced to relocate. We have cases of people who have moved from Mashingo to Nyanga or to Bokwe, in search of a better place where they can harvest something meaningful. And then another major thing in Zimbabwe is mining. Mining has attributed to most of the internal displacement that we see today, more so because in Zimbabwe, mining has, it is actually accorded more leverage over agriculture, right? And because of that, we find people being displaced and without compensation, which is also very, very difficult for the people. And in terms of those crossing beyond our borders, it has already been alluded to, but the fact of conflicts contributing to people moving from their countries. We saw a lot of people moving from up the Sahara area because
as long as we don't provide those people with a human rights-based migration approach, we're not doing anything. For as long as those people do not have schools, for as long as those people do not have social services, for as long as people from Tongogara settlement cannot be reintegrated into our society and contribute meaningfully toward the economic development of the region, we're not doing anything. And it all goes back to us as a country, but also to us as a region and SADC. So there is need really for a policy reform, there is need really for a legislative reform in this country and in the region to make sure that we create or architecture sustainable migration policies in the region. Thank you very much.
To create or establish an agreement for different countries. We have many countries to go there to Kabulagadu to support the government to defeat this youth that Mozambique youth that they fight. So we don't know what's the reason this youth, because they never report to us. They never inform that what they want to. You can imagine different situations, but we don't know. Even the government saying they don't know what this group want, but they still fight. So what to expect is the government should be the first to apply this silent gun. But first they must talk to this group. They must give opportunity so they stop the war. But it's not something. For now, Mozambique, we see they are trying to stop the war. They are increase the war, and the government now, they believe it's possible to defeat by the war. But in Mozambique, we know we face different war, and all the war we face in Mozambique, the solution is the peace and talk, then go to the peace. But so far, we don't see this policy silent gun. So the politics in Mozambique, this will change the situation, because we have a lot of IDP. In the beginning of the year, we have more than 1 million IDPs in Mozambique. Now we are on half IDPs. So, but after 1 million IDPs, a lot of people suffer poverty, suffer access to war or clean water.
Then the question is, why do we still have a migration crisis? To me, the issue goes back to the issue of political will. Our societies are led by political leaders. Therefore, they are the ones who are the custodians of the resources. They should be implementing these various protocols, these various laws. My snapshot research actually pointed to the fact that in Zimbabwe, for example, Section 53 of the Constitution is very comprehensive about freedom of movement of people. Section 35, so Section 53 talks about protection of refugees. But given that we have got the law, we've got the Refugees Law Act, we've got various acts that address this sector, yet we still have a problem. The issue is the political leaders in this country do not have the political will. The political leaders in this region do not have the political will to implement what is already there. Now, as Parliament, particularly the sitting MPs, because we've got a new crop of MPs who don't even know what is migration, what are the effects. They need to be informed, to be educated on the short-term and long-term effects of migration. So I think there is need really for polarization, for continual engagement with the MPs, the government, and the civil society. I thank you.
Send the money. So they continue to use a risk system to send the money for this family. This is not a good situation. The state need to enforce this cooperation so they can protect, because Global Compact, one of the points is to protect this financial system. Even we have many migrants, they are difficult to access the bank system of the countries. It's very difficult, so they can protect the system. Even we have a problem with the protection, the social protection system for migrants. If they work there, they must to save their money on at home or different place. And this is the Global Compact. They come to solve this problem. The other challenge that Global Compact come to solve is about the skilled workers. That the state they should work on this so we can use more skill for different migrants, different activity that they can do. Even when they are working in this country, they are not recognized as the skill. So
engage our policymakers. If we are saying the wars have been have taken the feminine outlook, we have got the Parliamentary Women's Caucus, because these are policymakers. We need them to influence policy. And we have got Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service. These are the custodians of the migrants, some of the migrants, not all of them. So we need these people so that they understand where we are coming from as CSOs, our experiences, because they don't have, maybe they don't have the experience. They know they are just custodians. And the refugees themselves to share their personal experiences. Those are my submissions. Thank you. Engage our policymakers. If we are saying the wars have been have taken the feminine outlook, we have got the Parliamentary Women's Caucus, because these are policymakers. We need them to influence policy. And we have got Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service. These are the custodians of the migrants, some of the migrants, not all of them. So we need these people so that they understand where we are coming from as CSOs, our experiences, because they don't have, maybe they don't have the experience. They know they are just custodians. And the refugees themselves to share their personal experiences. Those are my submissions. Thank you.
If I am a migrant, when do I become a citizen? I was born in this country. I have papers to say I'm a citizen. But every time I introduce myself, people tell me, where are you from? I tell them, I'm from Kavuzuma. It's like I'm from Soweto. and they say nobody comes from Kabuzulu. So when will I become a Zimbabwean here? My second point is about when we think about migration, special attention to minors and people with disability.
Looking at some of the issues that are a breeding ground for conflict within, especially countries like South Africa, the media, the role of the media. I think it's one of the key issues because they shape the narratives when it comes to the migration issue. So my recommendation would be, let's look into changing the migration narrative using our media. Let's utilize them, and importantly, let's also have trainings for these people. You know, what I've noted is that when there is a report in South Africa, when a South African commits a crime, it says a man in Tuzuma committed a crime. But now when it's a migrant or a refugee, they will say a Congolese. They will specifically mention the nationality. So let's train these people in peace journalism, because that's what we need. And then the other recommendation will be, I'm seeing that there are people in the room that are working with women, especially when we are looking at issues of gender-based violence.
That someone who from Burundi can go to DRC. It's not the same. Africa is there, and we have the resources. People are talking about, when I was talking with Petrola yesterday, said, listen, we have so many people from DRC because there are so many people around. But you are talking, but what's happening in DRC? The war in DRC is not going to stop because today we are talking about Eritrean cars. But where they got all things is in DRC. Everyone has a cell phone. Who doesn't have a cell phone? Everyone has a cell phone. But where the product to make cell phone is in the east, contacts from east. So it means that they want to be sure that Congo, they will never have a good president. They will never have a peace. That's exactly. So those are things that young people must understand what's going on, that we can be able to say, no, we want this. SADC, we want this. Why Zimbabwe did not send, because we have an MP there, why Zimbabwe did not send the sword and DRC? Because all those multinationals, everyone has a Apple. It's small. Who doesn't have an Apple? Everyone needs a computer with Apple because they need a contact. It can last. It's a small. Everyone got it because they need a contact. So when you talk about silencing the gun, which is part of African Union objective, but it's not going to stop. It's only ourselves. We make pressure to our government. I'm happy that we have one here. You can ask official meetings with the MP, discuss about it. So it's where we need to change real policy around. So if
thank you, I'm Jose Myanga from Mozambique. I work on SAMIN. It's an organization that supports refugees, migrants, and IDPs. In Mozambique, the situation for refugees, they have several challenges. Most of them is about RSD, refugees status determination, because for now Mozambique has stopped to do this process more than 50 years. So this is why we have more asylum seekers than the refugee. The refugees is a small group, and this has created a lot of problem or even to defend their rights, because the most of the rights they are on the status determination on the refugee, not asylum seeker. We SAMIN, we do everything to support the government that they need to move this group or large group of asylum seekers to become refugees. So the big problem is this. The other problem is the documentation access. We have many asylum seekers. Now the IDs, the documentation that support them they got expired, and the government, they take time to renew this document. So we do lobby activities that the government should renew the document for asylum seeking. So the documentation is the big problem in Mozambique. Documentation for asylum seeker and documentation to become a refugee.
The migration issue in Zimbabwe is a very, very complex issue, and we have various laws that address such a problem. But unfortunately, the crisis continues, and it's manifesting itself in various ways. And the changing of Tongogara refugee camp from a camp to a settlement is one of the precepts of the Zimbabwe National Migration Policy. However, we are saying having that on paper and changing the name alone is not enough. We need to have a comprehensive approach to addressing this issue, which includes provision of services, health, schools, recreational facilities, and also proper documentation of these refugees, because they actually have rights according to the Section 53 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. They are afforded rights as refugees, and they should be addressed by the Zimbabwe National Migration Policy. You would realize that in Zimbabwe alone, we've got 4.5% of our population, which is actually immigrants. Now, we also need to look at the problem from a view that immigrants also have got rights. There are various protocols from SADC, various protocols from AU and the UN that actually provide for human rights to these people. And as a parliamentarian, that is one of the issues that I actually intend to be working towards, to make sure that they are afforded their rights.